Like the world's not going to change just by sitting back and hoping it does. Especially as men, we have to decide to step up, to become better, and take responsibility for what needs to get done.
Hi everyone, Jacob here with Pierre O'Reilly. Hi Pierre, how's it going?
Great, Jacob.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good. I'm excited.
For all of those who don't know, Pierre is the Executive Director of Net Canada and has been doing a lot of other stuff in his life that we will explore later on.
Something that happened early on in my life that helped me see why taking responsibility was important was a story I read. It was a story of this guy in an airport, and he was watching, there was a mom with two little kids waiting obviously for somebody to come off a plane, and this guy was watching. You could see the dad coming down the escalators because the kids were getting excited and they're yelling, "Daddy, Daddy." And as he got to the bottom of the escalator, the little boy ran up and the dad picked him up and gave him a big hug. And he's like, "I miss you, Dad." And then the little girl came over too and he hugged her and she said, "Oh, you're so beautiful. I missed you so much." And giving kisses. And then he put the two kids down and saw his wife. And I know it sounds like a movie, but this is the way the guy described it. And he just, slowly walked up to his wife and they just gave each other a big hug and a passionate kiss and just said, "Oh, I missed you so much. I missed you so much, honey." And this guy was just in awe watching this couple, and he walked over to them and he said, "Sorry to interrupt, but I couldn't help but notice just how loving your family is, and it was so moving, and just like, how long have you been gone?" And he said, "Oh, just a couple days." And this guy was stunned, like a couple days, and the way they're acting, it seemed like months. And he was so impressed by their passion and that. And he said to the man, he said, "Oh, if I ever get married someday, I hope I have a marriage as passionate as yours." And the guy responded back, he said, "Don't hope, decide." And I remember hearing that thinking, that's so powerful. Like the world's not going to change just by sitting back and hoping it does. Especially as men, we have to decide to step up, to become better, and take responsibility for what needs to get done.
Mm-hmm. What exciting things has taking responsibility allowed you to do? Like doors that opened up kind of afterwards, or
Yeah. Oh, there are so many doors that have opened up for me from this attitude of taking responsibility. I'm glad God really inspired that early on in my life, because to be committed to taking responsibility for my own faith to grow, but also if we want to change the world, and I really felt I could do it through sharing my faith. Making that decision early on in my life was so good, because even when I got married, my wife and I, we prayed, and it was in our wedding that we would go wherever he wanted us to go, do whatever he wanted us to do, and say whatever he wanted us to say. But it starts with that decision that I'm going to do whatever's asked of me, right? I'm going to do whatever's necessary for me to do in my marriage. I'm going to do whatever's necessary or being asked for me in the faith, right? I've had opportunities to evangelize friends and family. I've had opportunities to, like I said, go overseas and do missions that I never really planned or thought I would, but just because God's opened that door and he's asking me to be obedient. And so the more I walk through these doors and I see how God's taking care of me, the more doors open up and I'm freer to go through them because I just trust that he'll take care of me.
Pierre, how do you keep finding the willingness to keep accepting responsibility?
That's an easy answer. The only way I keep finding the willingness, because my tendency is I don't want to, because I think we all tend towards wanting to be selfish. We're always going to battle that, but it's really only with God's help. Prayer is so important that I keep in touch with God and ask him to show me who I am. Because when I really see who he's made me to be, how he's changed me, and I reflect on how he's changed me, it's not hard to accept responsibility. But it does involve asking God for that help, for that grace. God will never let you down, right? Don't be afraid of taking these chances. If you're asked to take responsibility or step up or do something and you're scared, that's fine. But don't be afraid. God will never let you down. God will never ask you to do something that he won't provide the grace and the support for. And I've seen that in my life. No matter what I've done, if I've gone on mission, if I've started a family, without a good job, or had a kid and then another kid and another kid, and how are we going to support this kid and that kid? the more I've trusted in God, He's never, ever let me down.
Pierre, it's really been awesome talking to you, and I really appreciate it. This is your last chance if you want to say anything.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Go Riders.
I was gonna make a joke about that, and I decided not to.
Trusting God is number one. Never to be afraid of taking that chance of doing things that you don't know how it's going to work out. Seeing an open door and just walking through it, not knowing what's going to happen in a year or two. If you trust in God and you rely on Him, He'll never let you down.